I have a goal of reading 50 books in 2026, so I'm going to do about 4 books per month. These are the books that I've read in January. I'm going to tell you what I rate them out of 5 stars and a little bit about them. I might spoil them a tiny bit, but not so much that you couldn't enjoy reading them yourself, hopefully. We'll see. I also, I can feel a fever coming on, so I'm really gonna speedrun this so that I can lay down and watch Frankenstein. Subduction. I had the least amount of opinions on this. I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. The writing is 100% on the poeticness scale, as the experts would say. It's about an anthropologist named Claudia. She's writing something about a Native American family, so she stays in the home of an elderly Native American woman who is a hoarder, and Claudia's like helping the woman go through all of her stuff and trying to learn about it at the same time. And then she also is like low-key falling for the woman's son, but it's mainly about family and relationships. All different kinds of relationships. Very poetic, very much PNW, which is where I live, so it's like, oh my gosh, I know that place. It's about family, and it's about being a hoarder, and it's about journalism. I did gaff about this one. This is Johnny by Johnny Erickson. If you don't know her story, this was written, I think, in the 80s. She was a teenage girl when she dove into the water and then was paralyzed from the chest down. This tells her story. I think I give this book 5 stars because it's a human story. It's a human's life story, and I'm not gonna give it less than 5 stars. I wrote down just to read the first and second paragraph of page 108, so let's find that really quick. Okay, are you guys ready? I was angry that my life had been reduced to the basics of eating, breathing, and sleeping, day in and day out. Because she's paralyzed, she's stuck in the hospital, that's all she can do. But what I discovered was that the rest of the human race was in the same boat. Their lives revolved around the same meaningless cycle, except with them it wasn't as obvious. Peripheral things distracted them from the fact that they were caught on the same treadmill. Their jobs, school, families, and recreation occupied them enough so that they never consciously recognized that their lives were the same as mine: eating, breathing, sleeping. And slowly I became aware of God's interest in me. I was some sort of cosmic guinea pig, a representative of the human race on whom truth could be tested. All the distractions, trappings, and things were gone. God had taken them away and had placed me here without distractions. My life was reduced to absolute basics. So now what? What am I to do with my life? I wondered. I have no body, but I am still someone. I had to find meaning, purpose, and direction, not just some measure of temporary satisfaction. Yeah, I give that book 5 stars. This book, okay, so I got. I walked into a thrift store and I saw this and I thought, ooh, a vintage 80s classic. This looks like a classic. Look, you can see the white marks and stuff. Looks super cool. Nope. Guess who wrote this? Logic. The rapper by the name of Logic. Listen, Logic, if you're watching this, I know you're a subscriber. You're really good at making music. I looked at Reddit and some people liked it. So Logic, please don't feel bad. But I would give it 1 star. Okay, Supermarket by Bobby Hall. That's his real name, apparently. Okay, one thing that happened was the main character referred to a woman as wifey material. Didn't like that. He says she spent all her money on Fenty Beauty and Kylie Cosmetics. Why would a 24-year-old straight man know what those things are? And was that product placement? That was another thing I was wondering. Did Kylie Jenner pay Logic to put that in his book? I don't know. He also says to his love interest, I want to buy combat boots with you because I want to kick the world's ass together. That's a direct quote. Also, he knows about Kylie Cosmetics and Fenty Beauty, this straight 24-man character. He knows about that, and he doesn't know who Tame Impala is. Halfway through my reading, I wrote down my prediction for what would happen in the book, and then that exact thing happened. There is zero trust in the reader's ability to figure things out. Everything is explained in painful detail, giving you zero room for imagination. It's like a psychological thriller about this dude who is working in a grocery store to get inspiration for writing a book. But then it has an element of what's even real? Whoa. But you as the reader, it's so obvious what is going on that nothing is surprising. It tries to do multiple plot twists. The plot is not twisting at all, sorry. Yeah, 1 star for that one. But logic, don't give up on expressing yourself creatively. People liked that book. Some people liked it. But I'm mad because you tricked me with, he printed this. He printed these white marks on here. He's sneaky. The Beach by Alex Garland. 4.5 stars. So good, y'all. He also wrote Ex Machina, if that's how you say it. I used to say Ex Machina, which don't think that's right. I love when the protagonist loses themselves. There's one page where he says, "I heard myself say," which shows how he's so removed from himself that he doesn't even recognize his actions as his own. And then I said that's similar to in 1984 when the protagonist hears someone yelling with the crowd only to realize it's himself. I just love when the main character is losing their mind. That's one of my favorite tropes, which oddly enough is in this book, Supermarket, and yet it's one of my least favorite books I've ever read. So The Beach is a legend among young travelers in Asia. White sands circling a lagoon hidden from the sea, coral gardens and freshwater falls surrounded by jungle. In this earthly paradise, it is rumored a select community lives in blissful innocence. For Richard, haunted by the glamour of Vietnam War movies, a trek into unknown Thai territory is irresistible. He was looking for adventure, now he's found it. So it's an adventure book, but with an incredibly flawed main character, selfish, flawed main character, and you see the effects of barely surviving, what that has on a human, and it also has an element of paranormal. It has possibly a paranormal element, but you don't know. You don't know what the rules are. He is so numbed to the horrors of his life on the island that he is worried about sounding cool when he reacts to his friend's death. He said, as far as his reaction, he said, "It would sound like a line from a bad movie, and I wanted a line from a good movie." Another part of it, Richard ditches a gun that he knew was a fragment of his imagination because it couldn't kill anything real. It's fascinating the way that he has lost his mind. Arlo! It's fascinating the way that he has lost his mind, but still in some ways is grounded in reality. Another part of the book that follows the theme of Richard being numb to his reality, he shows no feeling when he makes a selfish life or death choice, but after he sees the consequences of that choice, he vomits. So a combination of his character showing his humanity, but also acting inhuman in some ways. I'm not going to tell you the last sentences of the book because they're too iconic and I want you to experience it if you decide to read it. But it's him trying so hard to be a main character. It's like he is the main character of this book, but he's annoying with it, and he's being dramatic. He's so focused on himself. And the last sentences, after he's been through all this trauma and experienced these other people going through horrible things, the end of the book is him just thinking about how cool he sounds for having gone through all of that. I love an insane main character, and that's what I got. These 2 books are some of my new favorites ever. Let me know what you think I should read in the future. Sorry if none of that made any sense. Blame it on my fever that is coming on. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go watch Frankenstein now. Bye.